You know, if you live in Maryland or Washington, D.C., I do. And I don't even watch a lot of television. I mean, you know, maybe an hour or so a day, and it's news and it's channel flipping. You know, I'm usually popping back and forth between MSNBC and Fox and CNN and you know, just what's going on out there in the world. You know, it's after we get home from doing the TV show and stuff. But I'm seeing these ads that are encouraging businesses to move to places like Texas from places like Maryland. And frankly, I think this is just a warm-up for another presidential run for Rick Perry, you know, the Texas governor. Because he's now started an ad campaign in the home state of Governor Martin O'Malley, who's a Democrat from Maryland, who could be a potential Democratic candidate for president as well. Although I personally think Hillary's got it in the bag. We'll see. But the message behind, which is why, you know, Darrell Issa is like all Benghazi, Hillary's fault all the time. You know, he's really trying to take down Hillary Clinton. But anyhow, the message behind the ad campaign is pretty obvious. And basically, here it is. Unlike that taxed blue state Maryland, where billionaires actually pay income taxes and poor people have access to Medicaid, low-taxed, limited Medicare red state Texas is booming and ready to welcome billionaires and staff their businesses with even cheaper workers. That's basically the essence of the message. However, if Rick Perry really wanted to show people the real Texas, here's how his ad would go. And if I had the ability, I would do a Texas accent. I don't. I'm sorry. I mean, even George Bush, he was constantly criticized because he grew up in Connecticut and Maine and you know, went to Andover and Massachusetts, and he didn't have a Texas accent, but he faked it. But he didn't fake it all that well. And so, you know, real Texans like Jim Hightower, you were just terribly offended by it. So I'm not even going to try. But I will change my voice slightly so you can. This is a faux ad, and I don't have a 10-gallon hat to wear. I'm going to have to get one of those. Anyhow, but here's what Rick Perry's ad really should say. When you grow tired of struggling to make ends meet in wacky liberal states like Maryland, think Texas, where we're #1 in low-wage job growth. Come to Texas, where if you're poor, you have to pay taxes on everything you buy and every penny of your income. But if you're a billionaire, you get all those federal breaks and don't even have to pay a state income tax. Come to Texas, where you might have to drive more than 4 hours to get birth control pills because our state's new abortion laws have forced most women's health clinics to close down. But our billion-dollar mega church industry has its arms wide open to teach your little lady how to be happy in the kitchen. Come to Texas, where we have some pretty good hospitals, and you won't have to mingle with those smelly poor people because our state has the most people without insurance in the country. Come to Texas, where if some uppity person of color bothers you, we know how to deal with them. We lead the country in executions. In fact, we've executed more than 500 people since 1976. We even executed a mentally disabled man last year after the Supreme Court said it was illegal. Come to Texas, where we gerrymander poor black and Latino people out of any chance for political power. Come to Texas, where your kids could learn some of the most up-to-date scholarship on American history. You know, stuff like how Thomas Jefferson was a rabid Christian who loved them churches. So what do you think? New ad for Rick Perry? Anyhow, what Rick Perry doesn't want you to know is that the Texas model, by all standards, is a disaster unless you happen to be a billionaire. I mean, Perry's right when he says that Texas is great for business, and that's the problem. Texas's model is only good for business, in particular big corporations, you know, the Walmart kind of businesses. Everyone else is pretty much screwed. But make no mistake about it, Rick Perry's anti-Maryland ad, it really isn't about Maryland, and it isn't even really about Texas. What's really going on here, and whoever is funding this, I don't think it's the state of Texas funding this. I think it's some cranky right-wing billionaire, because what it's really about are the two competing visions of government that we have right here in the United States right now. On the one hand, there are places like Vermont, Massachusetts, and Oregon. These states, commonly called blue states, have made a commitment to providing health care for all their citizens. They've made a commitment to expand democracy. They're arguably moving toward a more European-style form of social democracy. Massachusetts has had universal health insurance, Romney Care, since 2006. And Vermont has already legislatively passed, Governor Shumlin has signed a complete single-payer system, just like the one Canada uses. They're just waiting for Obamacare to make it legal. Another year or two or three. On the other hand, though, there are states like Texas, states that make it almost impossible to start a union, make it pretty much illegal for women to control their bodies, restrict voting rights for anyone who's not white, and let billionaires pay nothing in taxes while the poor foot the bill. These same states, by the way, suck billions from the federal government every year, way more than most blue states, all while their governors complain about federal tyranny. They're takers, not makers. And this taker model for states is spreading. Just look at North Carolina. Since Republicans took hold of every branch of that state's government earlier this year, conservatives in that state legislature have turned the Tar Heel states into Texas North. They've passed extreme voter suppression laws. They've raised taxes on the poor people. They've cut taxes on the rich people. And they're restricting reproductive choice. Similar Republican plots are afoot in Wisconsin and Michigan, and I'd say even Maine and Indiana, where Tea Party extremists have started to roll back the clock on a century's worth of progress. Ultimately, this is the bottom line. At the end of the day, Rick Perry's hustle about Texas is exactly that. It's a hustle. The red state taker model is, as a growing number of Americans are starting to realize, one giant scam that only benefits billionaires and the corporate elite who fund the Republican Party. And this is why they have Moral Mondays in North Carolina. They've caught on to the con, and they're trying to stop the spread of the Texas model in North Carolina. So Marylanders and Americans everywhere, don't listen to Rick Perry. It's time to mess with Texas. 28 minutes past the hour. We'll be back. What do you think? How do you think that this Republican model is going to succeed in spreading across America?
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Or do you think that more and more Americans are going to look at Vermont and Oregon and say, wow, we want to be like that?